If someone asked me right now what my favorite game was, I'd probably have a long think, but I know deep down in my heart, realistically, I would just choose Black Ops 2. Like, there was just something about this game that just hits so differently, and not in the overused nostalgic term, like, you know, games were way better back then. Back when I was a kid, games were better. Like, no. In my opinion, I feel deeply personal about this, and Black Ops 2 is not just a great game, it's like a real time capsule of a moment in my life, and screw it, I'm not ashamed to say it, but Black Ops 2 is art to me. It's pretty much a masterpiece. The same way a song can make you feel something or take you back to a specific moment in time, BO2 is that for me. And if you've clicked on this video, probably for you too. In my opinion, it's just one of those games that just got everything right.
You know, I'm not really having that good of a morning. You know why? Because I woke up to this. You got two paths, Vondi. You got this way where you can patch the DSR and the ballista. For some reason, you chose this path instead of this path where you could patch the LMG target finders and everything else that is overpowered in the game. Thanks, Vondi. Thanks a lot. Ah! I'm coming for you, Vondi. I'm gonna find you.
Like, the colors were perfect. It found the ideal balance between military realism and that arcadey fun that made it feel just right. The art direction was perfect, beautiful, and individual. Pretty much all the maps were bangers. And just the overall tone of the game was perfect. It really blended everything together. And it blended in a way that really made it feel distinct from any other COD before or after it. Like, it really was the perfect mix of history and futuristic flair. Like, the game knew how to be grounded, but also knew how to have fun. So let's go all the way back to 2012. You know, the year that everything was just supposed to end. You were probably playing Flappy Bird on your iPhone 5. Listening to bangers like this, and I can't forget the greatest game of all time dropped, and that being Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Call of Duty Black Ops 2.
Hello everyone, my name's Ali A. Welcome to almost 15 minutes of Call of Duty Black Ops 2 gameplay.
For those who are willing to do what others cannot.
Like, I still remember the release period so vividly. I remember seeing photos and videos from my local Black Ops 2 midnight release. Like, yeah, that was still a thing back then. And this one felt bigger than any other COD. Like, the anticipation, the hype, and from what I saw, the line outside of the store was fat. Like, it was more than just a game release, it was an event.
Oh my god, there's the care packages. Fuck, I wish I would have gotten one of those. There you go. Thank you. Look at that, guys.
Like, all these random people standing in a line in solidarity, a mix of strangers and friends, and everyone geeking over the same game dropping. At this point, we're seeing trailers, multiplayer trailers. We've heard about things like League play. We've seen zombies gameplay. So this was looking up to be a great Call of Duty release. And man, I will never forget booting up Black Ops 2 for the first time and just the vibe that it gave off. It was so cool, and for the time, it was unlike anything that I've played before. And it didn't really feel like Call of Duty booting it up. It felt like a whole different experience with just the same sort of video game engine. Now, obviously the loading screen wasn't as cool as Black Ops 1, but just the music, the orange colors, the floating globe showing you where people are playing currently. Like, the Black Ops 2 menu was a vibe, and just like any OG COD fan, I went straight into multiplayer, and I feel like my first game was on Hijacked, and I just remember thinking, this is a beautiful game. Like, the colors of this game were beautiful. Each map felt like they had a distinct color, which I think is a main thing for Call of Duty games that made them so memorable. Like, even thinking about MW3, you had a map like Hard Hat, there was an orange sort of map. You had a map like Dome, that was a yellow sort of map, and Black Ops 2 just sort of nailed that. Carrier being the grey map, Turbine being a brown map, Nuketown just being this colourful map. Oh, and I completely forgot about the Nuketown release. I think from memory they actually made it a DLC map, like you had to pre-order the game to get Nuketown, which was kind of shit, but I think this might have been the first time that they've ever redone a map and made it look slightly different. So this was super cool, and obviously it's Nuketown, so it was a massive thing. I think later they made the map Nuketown free, which is great, of course, and I think that was their plan all along, so kind of shifty in that regard. But regardless, even just 24/7 Nuketown weekends, oh my god, like double XP, Nuketown, all weekend trying to hit clips, man, crazy. I'll get into that later. But like, what made BO2 special wasn't just the gameplay, it was the whole energy around it. It's kind of hard to explain, but if you were there, you know what I'm talking about. YouTube was peak, especially Call of Duty YouTube. Lobbies were absolutely wild, and everything about gaming felt so organic, and it was such a new thing. There was no big corporations putting money into it. There was no cringiness. There was no exploitation. It was just organic, just kids just having fun on a game. And the crazy thing is, like, this COD, that era of videos, that era of YouTube, nothing was polished, overproduced, or forced. And that's what made it beautiful. You know, you load into a game and within seconds, you'd hear some random dude blasting Chief Keef, another dude talking trash, and another dude with a gamer tag like, I banged your mom 27 with 40 kills. And all this at 8 AM on a Sunday. Like, the culture around Black Ops 2 was part of the game's magic. It sort of felt like the Wild West for online gaming for a while. Like, everyone was just trying to do their own thing and have fun, not trying to become the next big streamer or the next big this, big that. And a lot of people will attribute skill-based matchmaking to sort of ruining that, because how am I supposed to jump on the game and have fun if I'm versing against sweaties just because I did good in the last game? Like, back then, you'd literally jump into a lobby and it'd be complete random. You could make a whole new friend on the internet and you just run COD lobbies together. It was just a vibe, man. The constant banter, like the unpredictability of every match. There was no pressure to be perfect, no algorithm telling you how to play or how well you did play. Like, nothing was forced, everything just happened, and that's what made it unforgettable. Another reason why Black Ops 2 is my favorite game was that at the time it very much dared to be different. Like, it really was a step away from just the war simulator that Call of Duty was getting known for. It wasn't just about fighting in historical settings or gritty modern battlefields. Like, it had style, like it was saucy. It was slightly futuristic, but not in an over-the-top way. The setting really felt lived in, like a world that could actually exist in the near future. And it's funny I say that because Black Ops 2 is actually based in 2025, and the year I'm recording this video is 2025. Like, even touching on the campaign was a whole vibe as well. You had choices, consequences, characters you actually cared about, a really cool, deep, well thought out villain who was very personal, calculated, and his story blurred the line between right and wrong in a way that COD never really had before. Like, it was one of the first times Call of Duty really experimented with a branching narrative where your choices actually influenced the outcome of the story. And looking back, it was way ahead of its time. And I could be wrong, but I think this was one of the first Call of Duties to bring out competitive in the form of league play. Like, this was huge. I was never a competitive player or really tried hard like that. I was always a sniper trying to quickscope, but it was actually so fun doing league play. And that was my first experience with any sort of ranking and seasons, how the rank resets and stuff like that. Like, Black Ops 2 was ahead of its time, especially for console first-person shooter games. And even on that league play thing, I remember, like, the competitions and the MLG scene then as well. I was sort of in it, sort of out it, so I'm not going to talk on it too much, but I just have this really strong memory of nade shot on Meltdown, like clutching up for Optic or something to win a game. I don't know, but the competitive scene was booming, the MLG scene, and that sort of set the foundation for what competitive COD would be moving forward. The fact that there was multiple ways to play BO2 competitive, whether it was casual or pub stomping, or serious competitive play, or sniping, like, Black Ops 2 had a level of versatility that no game before had really done, especially in the Call of Duty series. And don't get me started on one of the most underappreciated parts of Black Ops 2, and for me that's sound design.
You're all that remains. Finish the mission.
Like, the sounds in this game were so good. The gunshots, the footsteps, the iconic sounds of the UAV pinging, the announcers.
The others are dead. Succeed where they have failed.
The menu, like, everything just gave the right amount of tension. And listen to how good this DSR sounds. Like, the bass in that is crazy. And, like, there's really something to be said about a game that gets the small details right as well. Like, when you hit a cool shot, when you get a kill, or when you're even reloading or switching weapons, it all felt good. Like, it was crisp. And it, like, subconsciously made you want to keep playing because it all just felt good. Even the UI was clean, but didn't feel empty. Like, it guided you through the Black Ops 2 experience without feeling like intrusive. Like, if I boot up Black Ops 6 right now, I wouldn't know what 80% of the menus do. And I haven't even touched on the zombies yet. Obviously, they released Black Ops 2 with the first zombies map being Transit, and that was way ahead of its time because you sort of moved around a big map. Instead of being confined to this small square, you had to build things that were scattered around the map. It just felt heaps more fleshed out than any other zombies we've had before. But it wasn't just the gameplay. BO2 Zombies had heaps of lore, and the lore was deep. Maps like Mob of the Dead introduced complex characters with rich backstories, and of course Origins being the final map. I'm not too sure about the storylines and stuff with zombies. It's super confusing, but I just remember being sucked into it. You know, the theories, the speculations, the Easter eggs, like, it became like a cultural phenomenon. People weren't just playing for the fun of it. They were piecing together clues, diving deep into the game's world, and just uncovering secrets. Just like in the past with zombies, but this just felt different and more enhanced. And even speaking on DLC maps, another area that Black Ops 2 did great in was the DLCs. I'm talking, you pay $10 for a map pack, you get 4 maps and a zombies map. Like, yeah, we get them for free nowadays, but everything doesn't feel as fledged out. Like, it really felt like we were getting a pack, like a well-organized bundle of maps and fun. And even the DLC cameras, you pay $2 for one camera and you can use it across all guns. That simple. And you know, fast forward to today, BO2 is definitely still alive, and not just through nostalgia. Trick shotting is booming right now. And when I load up Black Ops 2 now, I see the count for players online at about 1,900. Probably about a year ago, that was sitting at about 300. So something's happened in this time frame for it to triple in players. And I think that's people just realizing their love for this game. And although it's old, doesn't mean you can't not play it. Take FaZe Apex, for example. He's uploading a video every day playing Black Ops 2. FaZe Rain is streaming Black Ops 2 pretty much every day because it's just a good game. It is a beautiful game and it is a perfect game. People aren't just revisiting BO2 for a quick nostalgia trip, like they're actually keeping it alive right now. And it's crazy to think that this game came out 13 years ago. There's probably some 15-year-old kids, 13-year-old kids that are grinding trick shots right now that wouldn't have even been alive when MW2 dropped, let alone Black Ops 2. Like, when I really think about it, what makes Black Ops 2 art is that it really means something different to everyone. Some people see it as their first COD. Some people remember it as their best COD. Some people remember it for the community at the time, being FaZe or the FaZe house or something like that. Someone might remember it for the competitive side, being league play. Some people remember it for the zombies, the deep lore, and the DLCs. Others remember it for those late night kickback sessions with the homies. Like, Black Ops 2 wasn't just about graphics or realism or even the mechanics, even though all them was beautiful and perfect. It's the way that this game makes you feel, back then and even today. Even though it's a moment in time that we can't get back, this game is still beautifully and perfectly preserved. Art is something that's created and leaves a lasting impression on you that really makes you feel something, and fuck it. As corny as it sounds, that's Black Ops 2 for me. Like, the fact that it's been more than a decade since this game dropped and it still lives in my head rent-free, and there's still so many people harping on Black Ops 2 and how good it was, like, that means something. This was a really good game. Even though it was a Call of Duty game, in general, overall, it was a great game. And like, that's proof enough to me to know it was special. But I'm really curious to know what you guys think. So let me know in the comments whether you think Black Ops 2 is the best COD, let alone if you love Black Ops 2 as much as me. Hopefully this video came out pretty long. I try to go a little bit more in depth than I usually would. So if you like this video, make sure you like the actual video. Make sure you subscribe for more content like this. As always, all my links are down below. That being both my streaming platforms, both my Instagrams, and of course my clothing brand, Memory Faded, which BO2 merch coming soon. So follow that Instagram if you want to see it, or sign up for the mailing list. But anyway, I appreciate you guys so much, especially if you're at the end of this video, especially because it's a long one. But yeah, I love you guys so much. I love Black Ops 2 so much. It's been Once Faded. Peace.